Hi, I'm Mark Fernandez and I'm in the ninth grade. I've been a Yankee fan since the minute I was born, and family trips to Yankee games have been a long-standing tradition in my house for years. So when I heard one of my all-time favorite players, Mr. Bernie Williams, was coming to school, I knew I had to be involved in some way. Mr. Williams had a 16-year career patrolling the Alfred Centerfield for the New York Yankees, which included being a 4-time World Series champion, 4-time Gold Glover, and a 5-time All-Star. In addition, he received the 1996 ALCS MVP and the 1998 American League batting title. Mr. Williams was also amongst the Yankees' all-time leaders in almost every category, with names like Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Mickey Mantle, and Joe DiMaggio. In 2015, the Yankees retired his number 51 and dedicated a plaque to him in Monument Park, where he is forever immortalized as one of the Yankee greats. Off the field, Mr. Williams was known to have a fond love for music, and his teammates could always hear his guitar playing in the clubhouse and on team flights. Wherever Mr. Williams went, his guitar was right with him. In 2003, Mr. Williams showed how passionate and skilled he was with the guitar with the release of his first album, The Journey Within. The record featured fusions of jazz, rock, and tropical rhythms of Williams' Latin heritage, and was met with both strong and critical praise and instant chart success, reaching number 3 on Billboard's Contemporary Jazz chart. Mr. Williams' second album, Moving Forward, which debuted as Billboard's number 2 contemporary jazz album in the country, and continued to hold that chart position for 5 straight weeks. Spawning 2 consecutive Billboard number 1 singles, the album was nominated for a Latin Grammy Award for Best Instrumental Album of 2009. But Mr. Williams isn't done surprising his legion of fans. On May 13th of this year, he graduated from the Manhattan School of Music, receiving a Bachelor of Music degree in jazz performance with a plan to pursue music education. Everyone, please join me in welcoming the multi-talented Mr. Bernie Williams.
Thanks, Joel. A pleasure, Bernie.
Thank you. It's great to be here. A little early though, but we're good.
So, who am I? I'm Doug Epstein from the music department. Today I feel like Michael Kay hosting center stage. Oops, it just fell in a hole. So Bernie, congratulations on getting your degree from the Manhattan School of Music.
Thank you so much.
Not that you haven't been a student before, but how was your experience getting back into a formal educational format work out for you? Like taking Theory 103 with a bunch of 19-year-olds.
It was pretty intense. It was very intense because, I don't know, I mean, I had my formal education being stopped by this little Yankee gig.
Yeah.
Right after I finished high school, I went to a performing arts high school down in Puerto Rico where I grew up. And for all practical purposes, I thought I was going to be a musician. But my mother, she was an educator for 40 years in the public education system in Puerto Rico. And she really believed that she felt in her heart that she needed to give us the best education possible. Be a well-rounded individual that in my education, it had to include arts, it had to include music, it had to include sports. Little that she knew that I was not going to go into college at that time, and I was just going to pursue a career in professional sports, which was very intense. But going back to school as was that 3 years ago, so I was like 45.
Yeah.
Going into this school environment with kids that I was taking classes with, most of them were from all over the world, so they didn't even know what a Yankee was.
Wow.
I had a better rapport with the teachers and the professors than I did with the students, which was great because I couldn't just rely on my past experience to go and say, I'm Bernie Williams from the Yankees and I'm coming in and I'm just going to kick some butt and this and that. No, I had to show them that I could hang with them most of these students were playing music since they were 3 or 4 years old. By the time they're 17 or 18, they're virtuosos in their instrument. So this guy is coming in, this like old, sort of creepy guy coming in this classroom with a little notebook and things. It's like, who's this guy? What is he doing here?
Yeah.
So I had to prove to them, and I had to earn their respect in many ways, which I did for the most part, which I'm really proud of. So most of the people there know me as a musician, and around the last semester, they started figuring out who I was.
Ah.
So the buzz started going, like selfies and all that stuff, but then it was too late. By the time I had my toga and I was like graduating, it's like, oh, so that's the guy that was here for like 3 years, walking around. I didn't really know who it was.
So you got your degree in 3 years, so it was really concentrated effort on your part to get that done.
Yes, it was. Like I said before, it was very intense. It was a very comprehensive program. You had to take theory, ear training, my instrument, combo, ensemble, and everything. And it was really hard, but I'm really proud I did it.
Well, congratulations. So the next step is a music education degree for you?
Yes, I'm really interested in that side. I thought I was going to go into master's into performance, but I think music education is sort of what my heart is calling me right now. I like performing, and I like sort of this interaction with the audience. As much as I like the interaction with the fans when I was playing baseball, it's some weird energy going, when I was playing, and I felt the roar of the crowd, and hitting a home run or striking out or whatever it felt like this sort of energy going through me. And I feel the same way when I'm performing, although in the more intimate setting. I don't know, it's very similar. Nobody's really rooting for me to strike out here, so that's one of the differences. But for the most
opportunity later. But.
Yeah, I know. But most of the people that want to listen to me, they want to be entertained, and they want to be, for the most part, pleasantly surprised. Most of the people that actually know me, they know me from the sports background.
Yeah.
So it's a nice surprise. They say, "Wow, this guy's playing. Let's see how he plays. Oh wow, he's kind of serious about this. He's putting a lot of work into it." So that's what I'm shooting for.
It's true. You talked about striking out. Baseball is a game steeped with failure. To be a remarkably successful player like you, you're never getting to base 7 out of 10 times, much less scoring. But you're considered wildly successful when you're a third of your time you manage to get to first base, one way or another. How do you deal with failure in this other part of your life? Do you call it failure? How, what was it like when the Yankees in that experience dealing with an insurmountable, very difficult thing to achieve? Hitting a fastball at 95 miles an hour.
That was pretty interesting, I think, because the fact that you deal with failure on a daily basis, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger, I kind of say. And it's, I had one person saying to me a long time ago, don't focus your attention on your results, because your results, especially in baseball, you cannot control. You can work hard and you can do everything that is necessary to be ready for that game, but you cannot control an umpire calling a bad pitch on you. You cannot control a pitcher, making a great pitch on you. You cannot control you hitting the ball right where you need to hit it, right at somebody. You did everything perfect. So he said to me, don't really worry too much about the results. Just pride yourself in your approach and make sure that your approach is right all the time, because if you do that, you can always look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, I did the best, the absolute best that I could. And if it didn't happen, it wasn't up for me. But it wasn't because I stopped trying. So I took that to heart. And I think, obviously you've got to have some God-given ability, sort of default level of skill level to be at that, to be performing at that high profile intensity job. But at the same time, a lot of the people that go in there with the default set of skill that is necessary to be there, you still have to, make a difference between the players that are there and the actual great players and the good players. So to me, the difference is what you have in your mind and what you have in your heart. Is the ability to make adjustments, with failure, overcoming adversity, and your resilience. And to me, those two things are the most important thing. Because everybody has just about the same level. Everybody throws 95 miles an hour. Everybody can hit the ball 500 feet. But that difference between what you have here and what you have here is really what actually makes the difference on the field, and to give you the longevity that you need.
How do you prepare for that? There's preparation to get the skills, and you still have to sleep. You have balance in life. You want to hang out with your family, whatever. So there's a point where all the preparation you could do, you don't do because you have other things in your life. So where do you draw the line?
Well, that is a very fine line between, there's always sacrifices to be made. And, sadly, you can't really have it all. So, you have to commit to this to make it work. It is hard because if you're married and have kids, it does take a toll on your family. And you have a supporting family that really supports what you're doing, it's a lot easier. But when you have a circumstance where you have kids growing, they're going to school, and you don't have enough time to spend with them because you're actually trying to make it and keep your job, it becomes an issue. It's very interesting how to navigate those, how to keep that balance, and to make sure that you have support, because you do the best you can to make sure that you're the best, but it really doesn't matter that much if you don't have anybody to share it with.
Yeah.
So it's a give and take. You have your kids that are going to say, Dad, why aren't you here? When I'm, with parent-teacher conference, why are you here at my baseball games? Why aren't you here? So you got to make sure that you still have a life, and you invest in relationships that are going to last you way past the game that you're playing. Because I retired about 10 years ago. I'm 37. So I got hopefully the rest of my life to live, and it's all about the relationships that you build up until that point. If you don't have a relationship with your kids when they're growing up, you cannot expect to have a relationship with them once they're older and they're going into college and high school and all that stuff. So it's pretty tricky.
Let's go back a generation. Growing up in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
Your mom was an educator.
Yes.
Your dad?
He was a merchant marine.
Was he around? Was he around much?
He was around. As I was telling you before, they dated for 10 years because he was overseas, but they decided to settle. So they went down to Puerto Rico and they settled. And my dad made a commitment to stay there with the family and raise us. Me and my brother, with my same attitude that my mom had, my brother is a cellist, and he's also a lawyer down in Puerto Rico. So she had that thing going for us. And music, sports, and academics, go hand in hand.
It's fascinating. A lot of my friends who grew up with me, loved music as much as I did. I chose it for life's work. But they had families that, music, you got to get a real job, So your parents didn't seem to have that attitude.
No, my parents were more of the attitude of, as long as you get good grades, you can do all these extracurricular activities, although they wanted me to do them. But, I developed such a great love for them that they made it an incentive.
Do you remember your GPA average in high school?
It was 3.85.
It said 3.9 on the internet. It shows you can't believe everything on the internet.
0.05.
You were a star athlete too. You competed in track and field and won some gold medals, I believe. Is that?
Yeah, youth Caribbean, Central American and Caribbean track meet.
Yeah.
But I think all of that was by design from my parents. They didn't want us to hang out with the wrong crowd. They didn't want us to waste our time. So they always had something for us to do. It was horrible. I had to wake up so early. Oh my goodness. But in hindsight, it's probably the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah, look at you.
Yeah.
Here's a question I've been waiting to ask you since I knew I'd be talking to you. I know that Paul O'Neill always kept a drum kit under the stands. And, Paul, we all knew he would be smashing things in the dugout when something didn't go right. You sort of took diversity not diversity, issues with things not going correctly in a much calmer way. But you, I understand, also had your guitar down there and amp, and did you and Paul ever do any duets, therapeutic duets?
Yeah. But I do want to make a disclaimer. I think, there's been built this image of me being this sort of like calm, collected guy. But it was all on camera because obviously it was encouraged for us, for some of us, not to show any emotion on the field because I felt that if I would show any emotion, I would give an edge to the opposition. If you're mad, the pitcher says, oh, he's mad, so we're going to do something to try to get him even madder so he can be out of control and maybe he'll throw his game off a little bit. Or if he's nervous or whatever. So it was more, to me, it was a better game plan not to show any emotion. So if I would strike out or have a bad game, or I would be like calm and collected. But out of the stage, out of the cameras, I was like the Tasmanian devil. I was like, doing all that stuff. Probably an equal level with Paul. Paul just didn't have a filter. He just would erupt at any point, and he wouldn't think twice about it. Yeah. But I think every player has those moments. It's just a matter of making sure that they happen at a place that you are with yourself and not really showing anybody. At least that worked. That's the thing that worked for me.
I'm looking at my notes for a quick second here. So,
back to your point. He was a drummer.
Yeah.
And he was a pocket drummer. He wasn't very flashy, doing a lot of crazy stuff, but he could keep a beat. So he would go into the old stadium. Ron Guidry, which was a pitcher for the Yankees back in the 70s,
yes,
was an avid drummer as well, and I think Pearl gave him a couple of drum sets, and he had one set up at in the stadium, and this place called the Paint Room, which was all the leftover paint was,
all the green paint from
all
seats,
all that stuff. So we had some of those fumes going as we were going into rain delays after batting practice, and every chance that we get, it was a release for us. We had David Wells, we had John Wetland. We would bring like
they all played.
Yeah, they all played guitar. We'd bring some guests, from outside, and we'd kind of sneak them out into the paint room, and we would like have jam sessions and things like that. So it was pretty cool.
Wow, are there any videos of that? Oh, shucks. How do you define luck? What do you need to do to have luck go your way?
Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Well, good luck.
Yeah.
When preparation meets opportunity. I think as players, we're accustomed to be on the unbutton, what I call the unbutton. When I'm playing in the outfield, let's say, I'm waiting for the ball to be hit.
You can talk to them. You don't have to talk to me.
Most of the time, nothing really happens, but you have to be ready just in case something happens.
Yeah.
So, in average, you see about 100 and maybe 160 pitches, 150 pitches during the course of a game. So you have to be on, okay, off. On, okay, it's happening. So it's better to do that than being off and, oh, what? So in front of 50,000 people and the millions watching, so it's, with that in mind, preparation in all facets of the game. Doing your research on the pitchers that you're going to face, doing your research on the hitters that you're going to defend against, doing everything that you can do to physically be in the best possible physical condition, and your skill level set to make sure that you don't have any chinks in your swing, to make sure that it's perfect. I mean, perfect. Like every time you wake up at 2:30 in the morning and you stand up and you swing perfect swing. That's the kind of sort of automatic pilot thing that you need to have in your mind, because once you start getting into the real thing, you don't have too much time to think. In a lot of the stuff that you do, you rely on your preparation. If you have good preparation, when you rely on it, you automatically do the perfect thing.
So equate that to scales and arpeggios.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely the same thing. You practice them until you know them and you dream about them. You know different combinations. You do this and you do that. And when you're playing, you're basically doing what you have practiced so hard and so long that it becomes second nature. And then you give your creativity an opportunity to come forward, because you don't have to think about the scales. You don't have to think about making the notes right. You just can just think about a concept and just execute it. And the instrument doesn't become an obstacle for your creativity.
Just an extension of your body.
Yep.
Amazing. Carolyn, how are we doing time-wise?
Let's go. One more question.
One more question, okay, from me, and then we go to questions from the folks. So what do you do when there is time for yourself?
That's an interesting question. I don't know if I've ever been asked that question. Which brings me to this point.
Because when I look in a mirror, you know, obviously, when was the last time I was bored? I haven't been.
Like I took, it was so valuable to me, those 60 seconds of peace that we had. And I don't remember the last time I would close my eyes and say, okay, let it go. It's going to be a great day. You know what you have to do. Just get it done. You got this. You know, that time to me there was, so valuable. And I encourage everybody to do that every day, maybe more than once a day. Because, as you grow and you become older and you've got more responsibilities, the time that you get to spend for yourself gets more and more limited, depending on how much, work you get. So it's very important to make sure that you stay within yourself and make sure that you're grounded. So what that did for me was just center it. And then I was ready to go because I have a plan and I prepare for it. So, I don't know what else I can say about that, but
great advice. I'm going to stop asking questions. We're going to send it over to the recital hall for the students there to ask questions. And we're going to let them do the questioning over there because you guys were here seeing Bernie in person. So I think that's fair, right? And then after a couple questions from the folks over there, the band's going to play.
And we have a band.
So we're going to get some questions from the other side of the campus.